Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with our Thursday workout. Got a couple fun bodyweight benchmarks on the menu today. So let's begin with 3 rounds through a 200-meter jog, and then come inside for 4 reps of a Spider-Man stretch plus an overhead reach. So that's this long lunge where I'm reaching my elbow for the ground, and then both hands up to the overhead position, and then reach back, elbow down, try and get a little further on the second rep. And then again, hands overhead, do that 4 reps on each side. And then we're gonna get 8 reps of a kip on each side, or a kips on the first round. And then as you go through 3 rounds of this, start making the kips a little bit bigger, and then maybe you can work in some pull-ups as well as you go through the workout, or go through the warm-up. At the end of each round, I want you to set up and test one of the exercise elements that you're going to do. There are 2 benchmarks, and our goal is pick one of the 2. You don't do both of them unless you're crazy, right? Cindy is the basic variation. Mary is always offered with Cindy. It is a much more challenging version of the similar exercise styles, right? So they're both 20-minute AMRAPs, and they both have a pull, a push, and a squat component to them. For Cindy, it's 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats, repeated until exhaustion, right? So it's a 20-minute AMRAP. You're trying to get as many rounds of that as you can. I always say, like, try to set up a scaling that gets you into the teens for rounds, right? So like 12, 14, 16 rounds are all good scores. And then the benchmark number that everybody's always shooting for is 20 rounds, right? So that means basically a round a minute. That's a very challenging score to get unassisted. So think about that as you set up your pull-up station, push-up station, and where you're gonna do your squats. Mary is a much more challenging bodyweight complex, where you're gonna do 5 reps of a handstand push-up, 10 reps of a pistol, and that is 5 on each leg, and then 15 reps of a pull-up, right? So those are advanced exercises. I would expect that if you're going to do Mary, that you know them and that you are very comfortable with them, because it's the kind of workout that you need to be getting like 6 to 10 rounds of in order to make it a good workout, right? So I would not say do Mary if you need to do it with assistance on the pull-ups or assistance on the handstand push-ups, right? So that is one of those ones where you need to work up to that, those level of exercises in a separate setting before you try to do them in a benchmark workout, right? So those are our 2 benchmarks for today. We'll start them at the same time. They're 20-minute AMRAPs, and it is just go until you can't go anymore. But always use good technique when we do these bodyweight exercises. They seem simple, but that is where we have the opportunity to express virtuosity, which is making these basic movements look very, very competent and well executed, all right? There is extra credit for grip when you're done. A different exercise, one that I don't think I've ever programmed before, which is a fingertip plank, or variations of the different planche leans that are out there. So there's a way to work on grip that's static and is different than grabbing onto something. It is using your fingertips for strength. So we will do the 75-second static farmer hold with a shrug every 5 seconds on that. So it's just like watch the clock, and you'll start off by picking the weights up and giving me a shrug, and then every time that second hand ticks past one of the 5-second marks, you do a shrug, right? Do that for 1 minute and 15 seconds. And then the next one is 15 to 30 seconds of a fingertip plank. So that is just get your body into the plank position and then hold with just your fingertips. And this is the basic version of it, right? Where I'm on my knees, but I'm using my fingers to hold myself up. And then you can go to a regular plank position with just the fingertips. That makes it harder. And then you can start walking your way forward into a planche lean, right? When you get your shoulders forward of your fingertips, that is where it's called a planche lean, so it's working on getting your body able to be supported by just your hands and lightening with your feet support on that exercise. All right, so there's lots of scaling up and down for that you can do. In fact, you could even do on a bench or an elevated object with just your fingertips. But it's a different type of strength than grabbing, and it is a meaningful element of hand and finger and wrist strength that we could train. So give it a try, see if you like it. All right, that's it for Thursday. Have a great one. See you guys on Friday.